Welcome everyone to Monday Morning Morons for October 9th, 2017. This week, I want to start off with something that, well, I really don't know any way to describe this other than bullshit. Just pure unadulterated bullshit. Judge rules Black Lives Matter cannot be sued after cop files lawsuit. A federal judge in Louisiana ruled Thursday that Black Lives Matter is a social movement and cannot be sued, deflating the legal case of an unnamed police officer injured in a demonstration in July 2016. Now, before we even get into the merits of the case, this is where I'm calling bullshit. Now, to be fair, I'm not a lawyer, so if you are, feel free to correct me wherever I go wrong here, but BLM is a central organization as laid out by BLM itself. Black Lives Matter is a chapter-based national organization working for the validity of black life. A chapter-based national organization, not a social movement. This makes them no different than the NRA, the Democratic or Republican Party, the National Organization for Women, etc. They are a single entity made up of local chapters. Note, this is not me saying this. This is BLM itself saying this. Next, a collective of more than 50 organizations representing thousands of black people from across the country have come together with renewed energy and purpose to articulate a common vision and agenda. So they have a single unified platform, just like a political party, making them a single entity. And they are funded as a single entity through donations from other left-wing foundations. So when the judge says this, although many entities have utilized the phrase Black Lives Matter in their titles or business designations, Black Lives Matter itself is not an entity of any sort, Jackson wrote in his ruling. I call bullshit. BLM is an entity. As I said, I'm not a lawyer, so I've no idea which legal term would apply here, but it clearly is a single entity. Further, the lawsuit did not accuse McKesson of throwing the possible rock, but did claim that he was in charge of the protest that turned into a riot, and he incited the violence on behalf of Black Lives Matter. Judge Roberts also cleared McKesson, saying he solely engaged in protected speech at the protest. Now, on this charge, I don't know exactly what was said, so I can't really argue one way or the other with any level of confidence. I wish the story had included that, or, I don't know, maybe the lawsuit didn't include it either, and that's why it failed. To sue someone for inciting violence, I would think you'd have to demonstrate that they did, based on exactly what they said. I don't know, but so far as I can tell here, this judge has just given legal cover to BLM to do whatever they want. He has set the precedent that BLM itself cannot be held responsible for anything. Good news for the Klan though, right? I guess they can't be sued either. Oh, well, I guess you can sue the Klan. How strange. As I said, I'm not a lawyer, so perhaps there's some legal mumbo-jumbo in here that I don't quite understand, but seems to me that the Klan and BLM are exactly the same kind of organization. Different goals, of course, but same manner of organization, so I have no idea how this judge decided that one can be sued and the other one can't. Smells like pure bullshit to me. If any of you are lawyers, by all means, let me know how this judge can decide BLM is not an entity, yet the Klan, the RNC, the DNC, now, etc., are, because I don't see the fucking difference. What's up next, Bob? Michelle Obama slams women who voted for Trump. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article, but here's what she actually said. Any woman who voted against Hillary Clinton voted against their own voice. It doesn't say much about Hillary, and everybody's trying to worry about what it means for Hillary, and no. What does this mean for us as women? That we look at these two candidates as women, and many of us said, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me. To me, that just says, you don't like your voice. You just like the thing you're told to like. A bit ironic, don't you think, Michelle? After all, you're the one standing there telling women they should all think the same way. You're the one standing there telling women who they should vote for. You're the one standing up there telling women what they should like. Are you not? Sorry, Mrs. Irrelevant, but women have minds of their own. They are not the Borg. They will like what they want to like, and they don't need you to decide that for them. You're not the first lady anymore, so we no longer have to pretend to give a shit what you have to say. What's next? Berkeley students protest exam and demand take-home. Accuse test takers of white supremacy. Oh, this should be good. Leftist students at the University of California, Berkeley tried to shut down a midterm exam, in part because the professor was a white man and demanded significant time to prepare for an alternative take-home exam. The professor, Harley Shaken, is a professor of social and cultural studies at the Graduate School of Education and is a member of the Department of Geography. He specializes in issues of work technology and global productions and has advocated for improved workers' rights in Mexico, but that wasn't enough for the protesters. You mean being a bona fide lefty activist isn't good enough for these people? Well, I'm shocked. Well-beings are being put on the line because of the emotional, mental, and physical stress that this university is compounding with what is already going on in their everyday lives, one student said. You mean the rioting is causing a great deal of stress? Gee, guess you should stop doing it then. I mean, it's not like the university is making you do it, right? Or are you pursuing a BA in rioting? This is our mental health. This is our physical health. This is, another demonstrator said before trailing off, scratching her head, and turning to another protester. Don't you just hate when there's a list and you forget the third thing? I don't know why you're still, sitting down, y'all. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Y'all can take your fucking test, but people are dying out there, another protester said before accusing students of supporting white supremacy. Yeah, fucking white people. Skipping tests saves lives. Professor Shaken offered to continue the conversation outside, but the protesters refused and said they were going to the Department of Ethnic Studies to complain, an action Shaken said they were more than welcome to do. Yeah, good plan. Retreat to the place where they taught you this retarded shit. They'll be much more sympathetic there. What's up next, Bob? Professors, white male privilege to blame for STEM gender gap. Well, of course it is. It's not like women and people of color have the capacity to make their own choices or anything. Two Seattle Pacific University professors contend that white male privilege is the primary reason that few women choose to study physics in college. Rachel Scher and Amy Robertson, both physics professors at Seattle Pacific, argue in the October issue of Race and Physics Teaching that physics instruction is currently unfair to women because white male privilege pervades the discipline of physics as well as the classrooms in which physics is taught and learned. Physics strongly values male socialized traits such as independence, competition, and individual victories, they write, adding that objectivity and rationality themselves, the foundation of scientific ideology, are also male socialized traits. So objectivity and rationality are male traits, but we're dropping those harmful gender stereotypes and women are the same as men, so women can't do physics because they can't be objective and rational. Shit, I don't think that came out right. Let me try that again. Women are strong and powerful and they can do anything men can do except physics because rationality and objectivity are male traits that women don't have because they're the same as men. Fuck, I must be doing something wrong here because that still doesn't make any sense. Maybe there's a clue farther down in the article. The authors also assert that science has been used as a tool of racial oppression and colonization, which further hurts minorities in STEM and physics classrooms. Historically, the questions that science has addressed have disproportionately advantaged white people, motivated by colonial expansion, to improve land and sea travel, mine ores, manufacture and farm for the benefit of Europeans living in Europe and in colonies, Scher and Robertson claim. And the cotton gin, which reduced the need for as many slaves, and the combine, which made manpower unnecessary to harvest grains, and pneumatics and hydraulics, which makes mining with machines far more productive than mining with people, and combustion engines, which make ship slaves pulling on oars useless and unnecessary, but do go on. I'm fascinated to hear how observing the law of universal gravitation oppresses women, or defining the laws of motion enslaved black people. I mean, you're both physics professors. Surely you can tell me how general relativity was responsible for the genocide of Native Americans. Since the STEM fields were built on male privilege, it comes as no surprise that these fields perpetuate male advantage, they argue, saying that the field of physics is laden with masculine, and we would add white, connotations on a symbolical level. For example, conceptualizing nature as governed by laws can suggest that it is ruled by a lawmaker, who is often implicitly conceptualized as a male authority, the professors complain. I see. So this isn't about science at all. It's you being pissed off because 1, some people still believe in a god of some sort, and 2, most of them think that god is a male. Which, incidentally, I always found a bit humorous. Why would a single and almighty everlasting entity have a gender at all? Ultimately, they say that physics professors must help to redefine the concept of science in the interest of social justice, proclaiming that if our aim is in part to disrupt white and/or male privilege within physics, we need to be willing to open up the space of what counts as physics. Right, so in order to be fair to the apparently incapable women and people of color, we have to redefine physics to mean feelings and stop being rational or objective. Good luck with that. I think I'll stick with real science. All right, Bob, let's wrap it up with our weekly dose of toxic masculinity, with a bonus helping of some male privilege. Woman sentenced in worst case of child porn in decades. Oh yeah, I can see why she hooked up with that guy. Looks like a real winner, doesn't he? A Michigan woman who created sexually explicit videos of young children at her home has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. Angela Boyle, 27, was sentenced Wednesday, almost a week after her husband, Colin Boyle, was sentenced to 60 years after the two had pleaded guilty to producing child pornography, Detroit Free Press reported. And here we have our male privilege, huh? They committed the same crime, and he gets twice as much time in the slammer. All hail the patriarchy! The Boyles had taken nude photos and videos of 4 children, ages 1 to 9. Angela had confessed to federal agents that the couple interacted sexually at least 4 times with a 1-year-old girl and a 3-year-old boy. In an affidavit, an FBI agent allegedly wrote, "The wife explained to law enforcement that child pornography is the only thing that sexually excited Colin Matthew Boyle." Right. So your husband tells you he only gets off on diddling kids, and you say, "Sure, honey, let's abuse some kids together. Anything for you." Bullshit. I guess that's why she only got 30 years though, huh? She's a poor, helpless victim dragged along by the whims of her husband. It's not like she wanted to do any of that stuff or anything. Remember, folks, women are victims, men are oppressors, and feminism is just about equality. I'll see you all next time.